Gone are the days of meme stocks and other fun things, or could we see them come back? So last year, everyone was shocked within the stock space and the stock market space because someone came back who took a pretty big break. I think he was gone since like 2021 or something like that. And his name is Deep Fucking Value, or also known as Roaring Kitty. His last post before the hiatus absolutely shot up was April the 16th, 2021, and he was down quite a significant amount. However, in June the 2nd, 2024, he came out of nowhere and he's still invested in GameStop. GameStop is doing pretty well. In fact, it shoots up because he did that. And it does, I think it shoots up about $20-$30, and I think it reaches a peak of like $60-something in the early hours. Now, of course, this didn't really last long. I think it lasted less than a month, and they were nuked everywhere. In fact, it was that big. There were literally investor calls. They were waiting because Roaring Kitty was going to live stream sort of him coming back and stuff like that. And he did. The live stream, I think, ended up getting like 400,000 concurrent viewers then, which was pretty crazy. In fact, I think that might be one of the craziest stock market people ever. I mean, there's a lot of influencers who have brought themselves out with the stock market day trades as well, and many more. But, Roaring Kitty did something, he took GameStop from a shit show to sort of still a shit show within that sense, but it's doing well. And in fact, it hasn't really done crazy in the past year, but it hasn't done bad. It's now trading about $28, although it seems to fluctuate between $26 and $28. In fact, in the past year, that's kind of all it's done. The lowest it's actually reached was in May 2024 with $17. And the actual lowest it reached this year in 2025 is about $21. So it hasn't really shot off too much, to be honest. And it's still doing pretty well. Now, I don't know what the future will hold. I think this year it's at a height of about $32. So it's not doing too bad, to be honest with you. And it's kind of shocking to see that this is still doing pretty well. Now, will Roaring Kitty come back? Will he leave it another 3 or 4 years until he actually makes a comeback and GameStop has just sat there dormant? Now, it is kind of sad that it kind of relied a lot on Roaring Kitty to do a lot of the work. And in fact, that's where a lot of people actually accused him of market manipulation. Like, oh, well, he's controlling this stock and stuff like that. Now, he has been pretty active on Twitter, to be honest with you. And it's the last post he did, which was of a dog, was on the 23rd of the 1st, 2025. So January, he did it. Now, a lot of people were estimating, is he actually talking about the stock Chewy, or the company Chewy, the pet company Chewy. Now, that company is actually owned or founded by the actual CEO of GameStop. So a lot of people are kind of staying close to that. That stock is actually doing pretty well at the moment. That's trading about $41. In the past week, it's up about $2 or $3. So it's not doing too bad, that stock as well. So, that was kind of thrown into the meme pile as well. However, do I think these stocks will ever do well and stuff like that, or are they just following a meme trend? And people, complain and say, oh, well, these are just meme stocks. They're not worth anything. They'll be, not worth this or that. And, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. They are meme stocks, and you shouldn't really take people's financial advice. This shit could be gone within a year. You can't, and then again, you can't predict any stock, in all fairness. Like, for instance, Tesla fluctuated. I think it lost like $200 the other month, a few months ago. It's back up now it's made a significant make back. Same with other stuff. It's like, it's not a surprise at all. You know, I'm glad to see this happening. I really want to see more stocks do well. You know, there's money in it for people. Meme stocks, they're quick money. A lot of people complain and say, oh, you should be invested in single stocks. You shouldn't do that. It's bad to invest in single stocks. And they ain't wrong. Investing in single stocks plays a significantly more of a risk than anything else, purely because, well, you're investing in one thing. You lose your money, you lose all of it on that, you know. You lose every single bit, whereas if you say invested in something else, you're investing in multiple things. So you lose a bit of money in that, okay, but you've still got that money in that, you know. Multiple stocks. Now, I don't know the future of GameStop. Hello, there's another stock that's kind of caught my eye over the few years, and that is AMC. Now, a lot of people would have seen AMC. In fact, it's become a sort of a meme thing. They still have a Reddit page or Reddit subreddit dedicated to it, but AMC is a weird one because it's fucked. The stock is completely gone altogether. In fact, the last bit of motion it had was in 2023, I think. Other than that, it hasn't really had any motion for some time now. To be fair, last year was quite a bad one for it. I think it was last. I would say it was last, I think, May 2024. It was just absolute hitting the fan. However, I think with the whole Roaring Kitty situation, he decided to come back and boost GameStop up. AMC, I think, reached like $12 in that year, in that month. I think it was May 2024. It reached $12, which was pretty crazy, to be honest, because, well, it probably made people a fair amount of money with doing that. However, it was kind of annoying because, well, it didn't last long. In fact, I'd say within about 2 days, it was back to its normal price again. And in fact, it's been sat on that price for fucking a really long time now. If you look at the chart, in 2020, in February, it was about $3.70. It is now trading about $2.75, and it really hasn't fucking moved an inch at all for the past week. It's you look at the chart, it's just stagnant. I think it's floating between $2.70 and $2.80. Like it's not really having too much movement at all. And of course, people are voicing their opinions. Well, is this stock completely over? And has it been diluted to a motherfucker? And I'd probably argue, yes, it has. It's kind of sad because they're not doing crazily bad, I don't think, Ames. They're doing good enough that the stock shouldn't be doing this, you know? And it's very annoying. And they're saying a stock split and stuff like. I know it's not really what it should be. Stock splits are shit. They're the amount of scams I'm seeing with stock splits is kind of funny. Essentially, what a reverse stock splitter. I'm going to just talk about stock splits in general. Stock splits are essentially, because these, like the NASDAQ and stuff like that, they have a certain requirement on how much your stock is supposed to be to actually be listed. Most of them are $1, I think. That's the absolute maximum or minimum requirement to actually be still listed on it. And of course, a lot of stocks can't do that, which just, if a stock cannot keep $1, it is not worth shit, and I think it should just be removed immediately. I think reverse stock splits and stock splits in general, unless it's to try and appeal more to different people, I don't think stock splits are bad if they want to make it a little bit cheaper for people, because sometimes a stock might be just too expensive. And they're like, well, not a lot of people ain't gonna invest $1,000 in the stock, because it's a lot more risk than investing $100 in a stock. So, of course, they might stock split it, reverse stock split it. But stock splits in general, I'm going to use this as a pretty good example here. A company called Mullen Automotive, which let me try and pull them over. They're trading now at about a cent. They're not doing very well. In fact, they just stock splitted. They just stock splitted in April. They were $1.05. It's it's funny to see. In February they were about 1,800, and they have dropped to that low, and they just keep stock splitting and stock splitting. In fact, they've probably done about 3 or 4 of them now, which, in my opinion, this is stuff that I don't want in the stock market. If you have to stock split a stock for your company multiple times, and it keeps going under $1 every single time, either try and look at your business and realize why are people not really bothered about it, or have a look and say, maybe we shouldn't be in the stock market because, wow, you are failing it badly. Holy shit, you are failing it badly. This is the type of stuff, I know it's irrelevant to what I'm talking about, but I kind of want to drop it down because it is one of the most annoying things. And of course, this stock is a dilution symbol, reverse split one after another. And again, exactly, if a company has to reverse split or stock split multiple times, that trying to save their bacon, stay away from them because they ain't going to make you money. They're going to lose you. In fact, stock splits, especially reverse stock splits, can actually lose you a fuck ton of money. Holy shit, they can. Say if you're invested at one point, boom, you ain't going to get that money back, Basically, you keep the same share. You actually lose shares, to be honest. You lose a shit ton of shares. So if you have, I don't know, sometimes it might be 100 to 10 or something like that. You keep the same value as stock, but you still keep the same losses. So, in fact, for you to actually get your money back, the stock would say like it's $50, the stock they reverse split at. You would need to get, you've lost 1,000. You'd need to get that stock up to $100 for you to actually make your money back. And that's very unlikely to happen unless it was a crazy company, So stock splits can actually fuck you in the ass as well if you're not watching. And that's the unfortunate part, and that's the reason I don't like stock splits. I think a company, if its stock isn't doing well, a stock split won't exactly help it. I think you need to go and find the underlying issue of why your stock isn't doing well and try to fucking fix it, Or if there's something wrong with the company, try to fix that as well, because that could actually directly result on the fucking stock. Because a lot of stocks, they are supposed to follow a company. A company starts laying off people, what do people do? The stock goes down in price. A company goes bankrupt, the same thing happens. Like Bed Bath & Beyond, I remember that there was a meme stock as well. People were absolutely, they were making shit tons of money from it until the last few moments, and then boom, people were absolutely losing shit tons. People they were actually making some money from that shit, which was kind of funny, to be fair with you. But it's not surprising at all. But who really knows? Stocks, you can't look at the future or the past to tell how well they do, because companies can surprise you like hell. Now, back to AMC, because that's a stock I kind of want to look about quite clearly, to be fair with you, because a lot of people have been voicing their opinions, and I'm going to read some Reddit posts in a minute, but I want to just have a look at the actual stock itself. Now, again, I'm not giving you financial advice. If you want to invest in these type of things, make sure you have the money to do so, and also make sure it's not the money you actually use to spend on things, and it's just what I like to call throwaway money. And again, invest with your own mind, not someone else's, because again, that could fucking backfire in your ass. In fact, it will backfire in your ass. And then you'll be wondering, oh shit, I shouldn't have listened to that person, but guess what? I'm an idiot, and I still did. Either way, AMC, looking at the stock, it's not a surprise at all that it isn't doing well. In fact, like I just said, it's been trading between $2.70 and $2.80 for quite some time now. In fact, the last time it saw $3 was back in April, and it hasn't seen anything since. It's in fact just been stuck on doing this repeat shit constantly, and it's kind of getting boring now. A lot of investors probably are wondering, is it probably worth it to stick in this anymore? If you're at a loss, then I don't. In fact, I see all these people saying, should I sell? I'd say if you're at a significant loss, would there be any point of selling anymore? Because, well, all you're going to do is actually confirm that loss. I know it's not financial advice, this, but you're not really going to help the loss, are you, by selling? In fact, you're probably going to lose more by selling, because, well, you've now lost the potential to try and make it back, unless you really need that money. And then again, if you really need that money, you probably shouldn't be investing in the first place, because, again, you shouldn't be investing with any money you should ever really touch unless it does well. But, you should never need that sort of stuff in emergencies. You should always keep it, Either way, AMC really hasn't seen, in the past year again, genuinely, I think the past year it saw $12 or something like that. Although it's showing $5 here, but I do remember it being quite as well. That seems to report the price a lot better than others, and it's easier to see more clearly. I don't know. I like Robinhood. It's an alright app. It does pretty well. I think it was it May 2024? It's still reporting here that it didn't do much. It's saying $5, which I do remember, unless that it did get a halt. I think that's when GameStop was halted like 3 or 4 times. It's actually quite funny. They halted that shit almost immediately. But yeah, AMC was halted like 2 or 3 times, which is kind of funny, to be honest, because that shit is kept on lockdown almost immediately. Yeah, but in the past year, $70 and nearly reached $4, and then it just shot down within a few weeks, and it's exactly where it is now. It's annoying because it looks like it has the potential just to go. In fact, the last time we've had, so it says, what's it say? The 52-week high. So not long ago, it did say that it was like $52. In fact, the last time it actually saw $50. $50, and that was $52.60. And after that, boom, it just collapsed. And then bearing in mind, that was on a good 2-3 year hiatus. In fact, it was doing pretty well before it even actually blew up. Which is not, in 2017 it was doing well. It was trading at $270, and then it absolutely shot down to $13 in 2020. And then, of course, it reached its all-time high of $360, and then it just slowly sort of collapsed down to $10 in October 2023. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing, to be fair, but it's not exactly had the most stupidest trading thing. I mean, it's been 2 years now since 2023, and it was 2 years. 2, maybe 3 years before we really saw anything. But yeah, it was doing well in 2016 and 2017, and then it just slowly over time in 2019, and then it's December 2020 it was trading about $13, and then boom, it shot up in 2021. Could we ever see something like that again? You know what? I really hope so. I think a lot of people would. Unfortunately, a lot of people who bought AMC bought quite like $50 the average. I think the last people were buying that shit in 2023, unfortunately. Now, I don't want to say if it's a good thing to buy, because there are talks that apparently they're going to be doing a stock split, which in my opinion is not going to fucking help, because it's probably just going to seep down again. And in fact, the people who've already lost a significant amount of money are probably going to lose even more money because of that stock split. I don't think a stock split is fixed to anything. If your stock is down a significant amount and it's not really moving past a certain point, you need to start wondering what the fuck is going on and try to get to the bottom of it. A stock split is only there to it's only there to save a fucking stock, you know. Like Mullen Automotive, they are just constantly stock splitting, and eventually they're going to come to the realization, which I'm surprised they haven't already, considering they've done it about 50 fucking times or something like that. They're going to come to the realization that it's probably not worth it to stock split anymore, because again, it's a fucking shitty stock. In fact, I think there should be a limit to how much a company can actually stock split. It should be that I don't think there's any legal requirement now. You can stock split as many times as you want, and in my opinion, you should only be allowed to do it at least within a year, 2 or 3 times. Less than that, actually, I'd say 2 times. The only time you should do it is, you know, if you're wanting people, say if your stock is like, I don't know, $1,000 per share, and you're wanting people to have a significant cheaper price of actually, or having a point of actually purchasing, or having an opportunity to purchase it cheaper. Exactly what Nvidia did, and they're trading, $100 now, something like that. So they gave an opportunity to new investors to come in at a cheaper price. You know, it makes it more affordable, and it makes it more eyes open, because let's be honest, once the stock reaches $1,000, it kind of pushes a lot of people back. 'Cause $1,000 is a lot of fucking money to invest in a single stock. Heck, I'd say, you know, when it gets past $500 as well, a lot of people kind of step back with a lot of it. However, I don't know the future of AMC either. It's kind of sad looking actually at its history, its whole history. In the past year, it's down $9. In the past 5 years, it's apparently down $37. And in the past, it's nearly down 100% in the past, in its whole lifetime. But in the past year, 5 years, in the past year, it's down 76%. In the past month, it's down 5%. In the past week, it's up 2%. But in the past 3 months, it's down 21%. Wow. Yeah, it's the volume's still pretty decent. It's 7 million, you know. I just can't. Like, the market cap is 1.19, you know, and the IMC stock riser theatre chain launches 50% of. Did it really? No, it didn't. In fact, yeah, it did. It went up a few cents. It went up to $2.80, and it just dropped. It's now the price is now stuck at $2.74, but that's only because it's open. It's after hours, so there's going to be very minimal movement from the actual stock to begin with. But I love looking at the news articles. AMC to bring down ticket prices by 50% Wednesday to boost, and it's up 0%. It's shit like that. Just if a company's doing some pretty good stuff and their stock isn't moving, it really begs the question to me, what the fuck is that company doing? What the fuck is that company doing? Because that is sketchy. That is sketchy as fuck. Like, GameStop. Let's have a look at GameStop, because I've been talking about GameStop quite a while, and I haven't really said anything about it. We haven't really checked on it. So GameStop is, within the past year, it's down 55%, which, yeah, is a significant amount. Although it did reach that spike in that after hours, like $60-something, $64, $65 it reached. So its all-time 52-week high It's only $48, which is pretty crazy. These will tell you what. There's a huge sell-off. It says here, May 13th, our customer sell volume percentage increased by 14 versus the last trading. This is not investment advice. No shit. When is their last? They've got another one this year as well. That's 14 million volume as well. So it's not a significant volume. And of course, looking at the whole thing in 2020, I think it reached a high of like 80, nearly $100, and then it's kind of been stagnant, and I think it was sort of brewing for a few years. It was just sat there brewing, but looking at it before, it was not really, GameStop really wasn't trading that well. 2008, they reached, I think, a high of like $15, and then they'd slowly been declining because a lot of people, like, they were talking about bankruptcy and stuff like that, and that's when Roaring Kitty just shot in, and it was boom, it went everywhere. It went viral as hell. I hope to see it continue like this, and I hope to God we can see these stocks rising back up again, because there's money to be made in them. But I know a lot of people don't like meme stocks; they stay away from them because they're more volatile. In fact, they are volatile, very volatile. 1 second they're one price, and next minute they can, this and that. So I hope AMC just shoots up. In fact, having a look on the Reddit, let's have a look at the Reddits, because these are very interesting. In fact, these are some of the places where a lot of people actually go to, to congratulate people on their failures investing. So let's have a look at the AMC stock. 36.6 billion trade errors reported to CAT, and a slap on the wrist. Wow. Goldman Sachs fined for failing to report billions of trades. Wow, is that all? Again, corruption is a finance thing, isn't it? Who's excited for, like, AMC isn't doing, and that's kind of one thing I was like, plays on my mind a lot. AMC ain't doing bad. I mean, they're not doing the greatest in the world, but they ain't doing. Their stock should not be trading like it is. It should. It shouldn't. No, I'm not saying it should go up or down. I'm not. But it's staying in one place, and it's been doing that for quite some time. It would shoot up like $1, and then it'll just drop down again, and it keeps doing that. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? A lot of people saying it's delusion as well. Diluting. Liquidated Ferry proof discount. He proved shares into existence. Wow. The movie subscription service, that's basically a cult. AMC A-List has around 1 billion members. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I mean, AMC isn't doing bad at all. Analysis of AMC Entertainment Holding quarter 2020 financial result, a deep dive. Summary of this provides a comprehensive analysis of AMC Holdings' financial performance. I don't think they're doing crazy. I think they've cleared a lot of their debt, or they are clearing a lot of their debt. So I really hope the stock in next year or so does go up a significant amount, because holy shit, what the fuck is going on with it? It's kind of crazy. But who knows, though? I guess we just sit there and just twiddle our thumbs and hope to God that it actually does go up in price, because it's a lot of people have still lost a significant amount of money. Unfortunately, there are people who bought right at the top in 2023 just before it collapsed. Heck, there was people even before who, although let's be honest, buying at the top that's a lesson learned, isn't it? Don't buy when something's got a lot of hype. It's like a lot of people kind of probably stayed away from the whole Nvidia thing with all of its hype. I mean, you didn't really need to sell, because you'd still have your money that you've made with your stock split. And in fact, you have that opportunity to make even more now. And of course, you don't have to pay tax at the moment because, but either way, I do think meme stocks still are prevalent in today's society. It's just, they don't last very long, or they just sit stagnant for years to come until someone reactivates them. And unfortunately, that's kind of what GameStop, to be fair, it's done better than I thought it did. GameStop thought it would. I know a lot of people did question and say, yeah, GameStop is just not going to do well. It's going to hit zero or something like that, under $10 or something like that. Yeah, it just didn't, though. Oh, there's another stock as well, Webull. Yeah, Webull decided to go trading, and to be honest with you, they shot up. They shot up quite a lot. I think they shot up like 50% or something. I don't know, like something like that. They did pretty well. They started trading. I think it was like, I don't know, like $20 per IPO. I think something like that. And within the past month, it's literally April, it shot down quite quickly. In fact, it's kind of been just in between, sort of doing that. Now again, we could see a comeback. In fact, the past week, it has had a high of $20. So I wonder if that could actually have some comeback as well with this whole shit. I don't know. I would kind of like it to, though. I'm kind of getting annoyed at the fact that it's just sat there stagnant. But I think Webull probably could be brewing as well. I don't know. No financial advice, of course. Either way, I think the stock market is one of them things that a lot of stocks you just look at and you kind of scratch your head. Why the fuck it isn't doing what it should be doing? Or why isn't it actually at least showing that it's still active? But hey, I don't fucking know. The stock market is a weird fucking thing. And unfortunately, there's no answers to anything like that. You just have to kind of use your brain to guess. And most of the times you can't guess because it's too fucking confusing to actually guess. So hopefully we do see AMC some sort of recovery from it, or at least show us you're alive. Because it's dead. It's KO'd completely. So I would love to see that, but hey, I don't want to toot their own horn crazy now, but hopefully the future of it is doing pretty well, because it's kind of sad to see that it's just sat there stagnant. But hey, is the age of meme stocks over? The answer to that is, I don't know. I don't know if meme stocks are over or not, until Roaring Kitty makes a full comeback and says if he's still invested in GameStop or not. Because I think it was like $1 billion he had. Close to $1 billion. That's crazy amounts of money. I mean, the IRS would definitely be sniffing around that shit. But that's a lot of fucking money he could have sold. And the fact he didn't sell kind of makes me a bit confused, to be honest with you. I bet you he's hoping he sold. Although, if he did sell, he would probably immediately kill GameStop because, well, a bunch of people would sell. Why would you keep it if the person that's kind of rallying the whole thing there disappeared? And that's why when he was doing that live stream, a lot of people, that's why it went down in price. People were selling off like crazy. I mean, part of that reason they actually did that to make a shit ton of money. They did that to make some money for the stock. I think they ended up making it back pretty quickly, like $1 million or something like that. So, that obviously contributed to collapsing stock, but wow, yeah, a lot of people thought he sold, and maybe he did now. I mean, he'd sell at a loss, but we'll see. We will see. The future of GameStop, AMC, and many other shit stocks, or stocks that are brewing up. Who knows? We could see them fly in the few years, or we could just see them sit down like AMC probably will, and then they just do a reverse stock split, and then it just does the exact same fucking thing. Why? Because you can't fix a stock by just stock splitting it. You need to fix a stock by fixing the fucking company and doing something right by the company. People actually want to take the time out of their life and the value they have to actually invest in your company and help it. And the way you treat them is like shit. and not even help them, So it's one of them things, really. Who knows? But hey, shit stocks, am I right?